You guys want to do it?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's Thunderheads with Brandon Soul, Rob Larson, Justin Wright, and the dark and stormy Jason Lewis.
No Rob Larson today. Family's sick. Family comes first. That's always been our motto.
But
here
we're
at
a
Thunderheads.
family.
That's true.
So which family comes first?
How do you make that decision?
Oh,
And
that's
clearly
tough.
he did.
I feel like that kind of hurts a little.
You know who didn't choose one family over another is Manny. Manny's here.
He's always available.
We're all he has.
And by the way, Manny was giving us fits today. Like, just not sitting up properly. He's got a pillow over there. His back's been hurting.
Yeah, he seems like he's got some issues.
Some topical news. Here in Oklahoma, everyone's mad at the weathermen. I know someone here at this table has something to say about it. But, here's the thing. Like, if you don't live here in Oklahoma, I want to just update you. Here, this weekend was supposed to be crazy. I think I briefly ran over this on the Aftershock the other night. It was supposed to be like a snowstorm. I don't really watch the news. I don't really watch the weather, so I don't really know the details. But everything I was reading said it's supposed to snow a lot. Roads are supposed to get real bad. It's supposed to be untravelable.
Like state of emergency situation.
Yeah, the governor issued a state of emergency.
Impromptu. Maybe a little too soon.
Yeah.
Soon we're going to be the state who cried wolf.
Hindsight shows...
Is that a thing you can do?
I don't know. Hindsight shows bad move. Bad move because it hasn't precipitated 1 single centimeter that I've seen.
I saw a little bit today.
Although I haven't been outside in several days. So
It did sleet a little bit last night.
Yeah, I saw some.
And rain.
well,
Doesn't count.
yeah, it doesn't count. You guys are here. We thought there was a chance. So everyone's dogging on these weathermen. How do you feel about this, Justin? It's okay. It's okay. Let it out. I mean, I know. Okay, here can I give you my stance on this?
Yeah.
Because I get people getting upset because the weathermen tend to be a little dramatic, and it's not necessarily
A lot of people canceled parties.
canceled.
You know?
Canceled
A
party.
lot of events happening that just not anymore.
Going to the grocery store. Like I went to the grocery store Thursday night to stock up on some stuff for the weekend, just in case a storm hit.
You went and
Man,
got
there was
some bread?
nothing there. Yeah, but it was like literally the last loaf of bread there. I mean, everything's cleaned out of this grocery store. Mostly the alcohol, by the way, which is interesting. Tells you a little something about the state.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so, I jumped on board with the whole we're about to get killed in this weather storm. Nothing happened. How do you feel about this? It's a tough job, though,
Look, so
weatherman.
a few days ago, there were models that, KFOR tweeted this out, and they were running models. One model was saying that Oklahoma City would get like 10.9 inches. Pawnee was supposed to get like 20.
God.
What?
Was supposed to get like 22.
I didn't even see this.
That's
'cause
a
I
catastrophic
I also
miss.
don't watch.
Granted, this is a model.
Miss.
And then there was another model that was saying 1/100th of an inch, which is basically what we've gotten. The thing is, like, when you're trying to make these predictions so far out, like, you're relying on models. And you're just basing this off, like, okay, so this is basically everything that could happen, and you're trying to mix something and make a forecast from it. The thing is, you're trying to make something that it's such a volatile system. We live in Oklahoma. You've got moist Gulf air. You've got a bunch of cold air from the north. You've got a lot of crazy things happening. There's a jet stream that it's so many moving parts.
Couple variables
And
there.
so to try and make like accurate predictions, it's really, really difficult.
And they're probably just going off of what they've been trained to go off of,
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah,
It would be fair to say that we've got some of the most unpredictable weather in the world.
absolutely.
Outside of places that aren't inhabited, right?
Yeah. I mean, theirs is pretty predictable. It's like, this sucks.
Yeah, right. So just don't live here. It's going to suck.
Yeah.
I get people that are upset with the over sensationalism, like the weathermen that over sensationalize everything.
And they're like, Chopper
That's-
4, there's a winter blizzard.
That's how they get you to watch.
That's frustrating. I get it, but like if you don't like that and you want accurate, check NOAA, check Mesonet here in Oklahoma. Like there are so
Noah's-
many.
Noah's Ark.
The guy with the ark?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about?
Well, he knows what's going on. I'll tell you that much.
He
That's
knew
how
about that flood?
Yeah. This is how I got all those
That was
animals
the-
real quick.
Yeah.
It's oceanic and atmosphere. They do a bunch of weather stuff. So
I like the other one.
Yeah, he seems better at it. He's
I
got that boat already
I
prepared.
apologize to everyone outside of Oklahoma that's like, what the hell are these guys talking about? Whatever. It felt like we thought we were supposed to get a snowstorm. We didn't.
Speaking of catastrophic misses,
This is the exciting news from out of Oklahoma. This is what we deal with. All right. Lots to talk about today, guys. Right? Weird week. It's going to be fun to get you guys' thoughts. Hard to evaluate exactly what went on with the Thunder. They were all over the place. We will get into that, of course. The role players, slumping, we'll get into that. Get into some Westbrook chitter chatter.
Ooh.
Talk about the Thunder exploring the buyout market. And maybe into some trades, too, a little bit. Everyone's kind of... when the Thunder lose a game, it's like, well, what are they going to do?
How can we fix this? By getting players out of here and bringing other ones.
And I got a list of buyout candidates that I think a lot of people find interesting, and a whole bunch more, obviously. We want to welcome in the crowd from Twitch, YouTube, Periscope. Hey, if you're a Twitch user, go ahead and follow us. We're not doing very good on there. We don't know how to promote it. We don't even know how to use it. Just go follow us on there. Help us out.
Cool stuff will come there soon.
Yeah, subscribe to the show anywhere you can. Rate, review. Really helps us out a lot. Hit that thumbs up button on YouTube if you do enjoy the show. It's a steep goal, but our goal is to somehow hit 1,000 subscribers.
Tell all your friends.
Right before the new year. Tell your friends, tell your family, share it with your coworkers.
Force your family to watch it at Christmas.
Yeah, we work really hard at this thing, man, and we appreciate you guys for supporting us this whole time that you have, and we've been steadily growing in every single platform, and it's been awesome. It's been a lot of fun. We just want to grow a little faster.
Yeah.
We want to take over the world.
Yeah.
We just want to be the number one. Help us out.
We just want to hang out with you guys.
That's it.
In a social media platform. That's it.
Yeah, that's
Too
right.
much to ask.
You can get in touch with the show at OKC Thunderheads on Twitter and Instagram. And if you guys want to help support the show, click that donor box linked in the description below. Every penny is appreciated. And every donation of $15 or more gets you a free t-shirt, which are just in. They're behind this wall right here. Maybe we'll whip one out at the end of the show. Maybe not.
Maybe we won't.
Maybe we won't.
Mystery. See? Suspense. Stick around. You might find out.
All right, let's get into it. This week, Thunder go 2-1. I think if I'd have told you before the week, when you go to Detroit, you go to Brooklyn, go to Chicago, you go 2-1, you say, okay, that's adequate, right? Maybe you'd probably say beforehand, maybe they lost at Detroit, a decent team.
Correct.
They didn't. They hammered Detroit.
Destroyed Detroit.
A incredible comeback versus Brooklyn where Paul George saves the day. And then a really, really bad loss at Chicago. So things didn't go... They pretty much went opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much dead opposite of what you thought what would happen. Was this a good week for the Thunder? How do you rate this week? Like, what do you have to say about this week?
I mean, it was just confusing, I think, is kind of the thing. Like, the defense they played in Detroit was incredible. Like, it was so smothering. And like Detroit literally couldn't do anything at all that entire game. And it was amazing to watch. Brooklyn, they didn't feel like they were really in it for 3/4 of the game. And then all of a sudden they got saved by superhero Paul George.
Which was fun.
There was a blast. Like,
Very
I was
fun.
on my couch. My dogs were freaked the hell out because I was screaming at my TV.
Well, they liked it too.
I think they were into it a little bit, also a little scared. And then it just felt like the effort kind of wasn't there all night against Chicago. And I feel like that's kind of a thing with this team is like when you're leaning so heavily on defense as they do, because you don't have shooting and you don't have like just an incredible offense. If you don't have the effort there, that's not going to work out.
Yeah, I think you're dead on. I think the effort definitely wasn't there in Chicago, and it wasn't there most of the game in Brooklyn.
Right.
And maybe like kind of where I kind of thought you were going with that was maybe when you're a defensive team, maybe it's hard. You're gonna have those effort slip ups, right?
Yeah.
Especially when
you're playing the Nets.
When you're playing the Nets and the Bulls in a back-to-back fashion. I think what might have, and this is just a theory, and I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts on it. I think what might have got them in trouble in the Bulls game was the fact that how the Nets game ended.
Yeah.
The fact that they played the way they did all game long and still won the game. You know, and so maybe in their minds they're like, man, we're good. We're really good.
We got that guy. He can just win it for us whenever.
We have not only that guy, but we have Russell Westbrook. We have Steven Adams. We have really good players, better players than any team we're going to play on any night. And they started feeling themselves a little bit. And they thought they got a little lax. And they go to Chicago, one of the worst teams in the league.
Universe slapped them in the mouth a little.
Yeah, the worst offensive teams in the league. Yeah, Universe slapped them in the mouth. Chicago puts up 70 points in the first half.
Man, the problem with that thinking is, though, look, you were right there to win it again with Paul George. Paul George got a great look to win that
Such a good look.
Well, I'm not saying that they aren't that. I'm not saying that they aren't.
Because, they totally could.
But it's just, that's not a you can't
winning
think
mentality.
like that. Yeah, it's not a winning mentality.
Well, but that's what I'm saying is that maybe they didn't really get out of it from that loss because there's like, well, we were right there to win it, so why should we have to change anything? I think that should be a worry moving forward, that they do get stuck in this rut and they do continue to try and it's a lesser opponent, which they haven't done.
It's the first loss.
This is the first loss to a sub 500 team, which is incredible.
Well, and that's also like when they lost to the Mavs, they were sub 500. We should.
Yeah, it doesn't count now.
Right, doesn't count. They aren't sub 500 anymore.
Perfect. But yeah, I mean, I think one good thing coming out of that game was Paul George kind of addressed that. Like he did say, I think we were kind of, giving into it and thinking we were better and we could just kind of coast in those situations. And now it's kind of a reality check to remind us that's not how this works.
Yeah,
So.
I was just telling you before the podcast, Jason, that I think this is a good loss for the Thunder in a way that I think that they have something to learn from it. Mm-hmm. It's a bad loss on paper for sure. The Bulls are bad, but I don't want them thinking that they can win games playing that way. Mm-hmm. And that's coach talk, that's coach speak, But honestly, if I'm really thinking about it, it's like, yeah, I think that's the more they needed to lose that game to go forward and say, oh my God, we got to be more disciplined, because up to this point, this has been a super disciplined team. Mm-hmm. And we haven't really been used to seeing that out of the Thunder in the past couple of years. They haven't been real disciplined. And Billy Donovan postgame last night talked about it a lot.
A lot about discipline.
A lot about discipline, a lot about concentration, and he was very quick to not say this team isn't. It's not that they're not playing hard. He will not say that they didn't play hard. He will not rip his own team, but he will get in those little things like we just need to concentrate, we just need to focus, and I think he's dead on about that.
The times that they really got in trouble, especially in the Nets game and a little bit the Bulls game, was when they were defending and fouling. But when they foul a whole bunch, they really get in trouble because it throws off their defensive swagger, like the way they're moving. And hell, you fouled what, 3-point shooters in the Nets game alone?
It was 4 actually.
Was it 4? And that's
Felt
a
like
bunch. That's
11.
too many.
Yeah, it did.
That's way too many.
Weird thing about that, I don't know if they hit any of the free throws. Did they hit any of them?
I don't know.
It was either like one or none of them,
right?
Which was weird. But anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
But so when they start doing that at a higher rate, like that's where the defense really gets in trouble. But when they fix that, when they get out of that rut and they're playing great defense without fouling, which we saw a ton of on Monday, where they were just smothering and Detroit couldn't really do anything outside of Blake Griffin. When you've got that going on, like that's a great defense. Is when they lose that discipline, when they lose their mental edge, and they start fouling a bunch, it kind of snowballs.
Maybe it was a perfect storm this week. You go and hammer Detroit, and you like probably the best defensive performance of the entire season. And you can even throw in the Rockets game in there too, because the Rockets were playing so bad coming in that game. I don't want to credit that as much as this particular on the road against Detroit, who had won 5 in a row. And they come in with a different defensive game plan. It wasn't like they just did what they always did. They did, they double teamed Blake Griffin over and over and over again, and they got out of their own comfort zone, all of their own principles a little bit, and they shut them down. And maybe that's a thing where, they close that game, they close that fourth quarter with their backups, go into the Nets game feeling good about themselves. Don't necessarily play. I mean, they played okay defense in that first half against the Nets.
It was a lot of fouling.
A lot of fouling. Wasn't their best defense, but they weren't terrible.
Yeah,
they were terrible in the first half of the Bulls game. So maybe it was just like you said, a little snowball effect. One
thing too, both of those teams were on like 7-game winning or losing streaks. I think. I know for sure the Bulls were.
That's true.
The Nets hadn't won a game in a while.
Yeah, it was 7 for the Nets.
And they kept coming close to winning games and failing, much like they did to us. They finally did beat the Raptors last night,
and to the Bulls' credit, they made a lot of shots.
Yeah. So I've got a question for you guys. So
okay.
as far as we talk about, like obviously this season, like Billy Donovan's effect on the defense has felt palpable. Mm-hmm. You've seen the different they're first in the NBA as far as defensive rating goes, so that's a great thing. Credit to Billy Donovan there, and credit to the players. Like they've got great defensive players. It's pretty clear that there was that different game plan for the Pistons, because you kind of know what they're going to do. They've got Andre Drummond, they've got Blake Griffin, they've got Reggie. Like you kind of know like what their offensive focus is. With the Nets, with LeVert out, and with the Bulls, who are still trying to figure out their own identity with the coaching change, do you think that affects the defensive game plan to a point where it makes it even more challenging to figure out how you're going to attack a bad offense?
Yeah, I mean, partially, and one thing to keep in mind with the Bulls too is it was Markkanen's second game back, and he kind of completely changes that team.
I mean, Markkanen had 24 on 12 shots.
Yeah,
which a lot of that was the fouling that you guys are talking about, but
right.
Yeah, Markkanen's a really good player, and they were like we were saying, they were making shots, but it felt like the concentration levels were so low, and it feels like one of those they just played a little entitled. in my opinion.
I mean, there was a bunch of turnovers.
Like, how many mid-range, wide-open looks did Jabari Parker get where it wasn't like there was no one around? There was actually a guy there, but they just weren't contesting it. And if you know anything about Jabari Parker, you know that's
not very good. No.
Well, that's where he likes to shoot the ball, is that mid-range. So, like, clearly that's all over the scouting report.
Yeah.
Like, so your concentration should be there already, but it just wasn't. Like, they were just missing simple stuff. Like, they were having trouble guarding simple pick and pops with Markkanen. And that's something
just losing guys for wide open threes.
Yeah, like it was really frustrating to watch because I actually I think I told you guys this on Wednesday. I expected them to lose that Nets game. That was a game I could see them drop.
Right.
It just felt like one of those scheduled losses. Nets have been struggling, but Nets have good players. They have good players. They just haven't been playing well. The Bulls don't have a lot of good players,
right.
and they also haven't been playing well. I don't know. It just went reverse to what I think. So it's hard to figure out. I don't know. Does this week change anything for you as far as the outlook of this team, or are you just kind of right where you were before the week started?
I think I'm still standing pat. Like a little bit of bad defense against two bad teams. It's going to happen over the course of the season. I think they learn a lot from this week, just the way things went down. If you can take the right things out of those 3 games, that you can go in and beat down a decent team, and then you kind of have to make that huge comeback, and then you lose a close one where you had a chance to win, but you definitely didn't deserve to win. I really don't think it changes a whole lot. I think this is still sustainable throughout the season. I think they'll be fine. I want to see more of it, especially this coming week, but it doesn't really change a whole lot for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same vein. Like the defense thing, I think they can still lean on this, and I think they just got to continue to figure out how to be focused and just really lock in on that side, and then hopefully figure out how this offense can be a little bit more effective, because it's really not been.
That's the worry.
And against bad defensive teams, they are not able to score sometimes, and it's just weird when you see them like just clank shots out that are wide open. You're like, I don't know what to do about that. Like, because if they were making those open shots, we're not talking about.
It's hard to beat the Thunder if they're going to make those open shots.
Yeah.
But the problem is they're not going to make those open shots very often.
Yeah.
And so, wouldn't you agree at this point that that's who this team is? This is a team that is elite defensively, even despite what you saw in that first half against Chicago. This is a team. The track record shows it. I know the schedule's been pretty weak. Whatever. Like, they're still NBA talent. They're first in the league in defensive efficiency. However, they're a poor offensive team, middle of the road offensive team, maybe below that, and a really bad shooting team. Now, bad shooting teams can have good shooting nights. That happens. Bad offensive teams can have good offensive nights, like the Bulls did last night.
That's right.
It happens. So I think that we have a big enough sample size to say this is just not a good offensive team, right? Like, I think that there's room for growth there when you have Russell Westbrook and Paul George and Dennis Schroeder and even Steven Adams, the way he's grown, and Jeremy Grant. There's room to grow there for sure, but I don't know that the ceiling is much higher. I don't know that it's any higher than 10th, like in the league. You know what I mean?
It would be really surprising if they got above 10th. I mean,
they need shooting.
Yeah.
They got to get someone that can make a shot.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Because, I mean, I got some numbers here, and I mentioned at the top about the role players slumping a little bit. Here's an interesting stat for you guys. So the bench role players. This is everyone outside of the starters, being Adams, Grant, Paul George, Ferguson, and Westbrook, and Schroeder. I'm throwing Schroeder in there.
Him? Okay.
So everyone outside of Schroeder and the starters. The production in this week's games, the 3 games this week, 17.8 points per game from everyone outside of those 6 players.
Good God.
Not good. You know what they were the 3 games prior? 34.3. So they cut their production in half in this past week. And that's with the Detroit game having all those guys out there to close it out. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure I don't know. I don't have the numbers in front of me what they did in that game to close it out.
I don't think they did great.
But that shows you what those what the Nets and Bulls games did after that, and that's against really poor competition.
Yeah.
In the total minutes, though, this is what I find interesting. 177 total minutes out of those players, of the starters plus Schroeder, in 3 games this week. That's 25% of the total minutes. 177 minutes. The 3 games prior, 235 total minutes from those players. And that's not because of blowouts. Yeah, they blew out Atlanta, but there were some close games in there. Is Billy giving these guys enough? Like, the leash seems short right now. Someone pull up that box score from the Nets game for me real quick. But I can do it. But if you just look at the minutes, Noel played 15, which is about par for the course against the Bulls. 11 for Patterson, which, whatever.
Does it matter?
15 for Abrines and 10 for Diallo. But you're not seeing anyone. Schroeder played 27, but you're not seeing anyone just like step up where Billy's like, oh, I'm gonna play him 18 tonight. He's getting 18 to 20 tonight. I think if you go look at that Nets game, it was even worse though. The minute distribution as far as those bench guys go.
It was Abrines at 19, Nerlens at 14, Patrick Patterson at just under 7, and then Diallo and Burton had 4. Yeah,
so he's like scrambling, and Burton doesn't get on the court against the Bulls, and I thought that he would have been the perfect guy to throw out there.
Yeah, it did seem. I thought that was kind of weird.
I don't know if in TLC didn't see the court all week long, really, in meaningful minutes. I don't think he even saw the court. I don't even think he got on the court.
I haven't seen him in a while. I feel like
against the Pistons. I don't think he even played.
Yeah,
even in garbage time, which is interesting. So I don't know what's up there because this team, what was making them kind of who they were and excel, I feel like, earlier in weeks prior was the fact that they were getting contributions from
everyone
unlikely sources.
Absolutely.
Hamidou Diallo coming in with 11 points. Burton coming in with an 11-point game. Abrines hit 7 threes the other night. Obviously, that's an outlier for him, and we'll get into that. But Ferguson knocking down a couple threes and a dunk here and there. And Ferguson's been okay. But Patterson hasn't done anything. We know this. But we're not getting that right now. And Billy's not really giving anyone else a chance instead of like saying, okay, well, we're going to go to TLC or we're going to go to Nader. And I don't know that would work necessarily. But instead of doing that, he's just kind of playing the starters more.
Yeah.
That seems interesting to me. I don't know what the thinking is there.
I mean, partially it might be that they've just been bad. Like whenever they have been in there, it's like, can you leave them in there and expect to win a game?
But are these games that important right now? I mean, I know the West is a dogfight, so maybe they are. Maybe they are. Maybe you can say, Brandon, they are.
If they had dropped that, like more on that road trip, like if they dropped and went 1-2 or 0-3, like you would be saying they were very important.
That's
right
true.
Now, right?
That's true.
Well, the Burton thing is surprising with Chicago because he and Diallo have been such energy guys, but when you're throwing Diallo in there and he's not quite giving you the normal spark that you're getting, I think you're just kind of like, I've got to roll with the starters to get back into this, or maybe it's a thing where the starters like, okay, you know what, you guys put yourself in this bad situation against the Nets and against the Bulls.
Get yourself out.
You guys figure it out.
That's what's crazy though. Looking at the box score against the Bulls, I mean, everyone outside of Paul George had a good first half. He was really bad in the second half, 6 for 16 overall, but he finished with 19 points, which isn't horrible efficiency because he got to the line 6 times. But listen to the rest of the starters, and then also Schroeder. 5 for 9 for Grant, 9 for 17 for Adams, 9 for 21 from Westbrook, 3 for 5 for Ferguson, and 7 for 14 for Schroeder. God, if I told you that before the game, you'd probably think the Thunder won that game. Right. Obviously, defense was the big issue there. I don't know.
The bench just seemed bad in both the Brooklyn and the Bulls game. Like they were.
Okay, is this worrisome though? Like going forward, are you worried about that? I mean, I know Diallo just came back and he's a huge part of this bench, but he's also a rookie, and he's also a guy that maybe you're not going to trust come playoff time.
I mean, I think that's the worry with this bench is that it's not going to be a consistent thing. Like I don't think we can trust them to be consistent, really ever.
Yeah.
I mean, Diallo is good most of the time, and he is still coming back from that injury, and I think they're probably being pretty careful with his minutes right now because he had some soreness in a practice, I guess. But I mean, guys like
some soreness.
But guys like Abrines,
down.
It doesn't feel like you can really trust Abrines to consistently go out and hit shots or provide much. And Burton, I mean, you can't expect a ton from him. He's gotten he got 4 minutes in the Brooklyn game and no minutes against Chicago. So
right. To me, Burton's already done about as much as you can ask him to do on this.
I'm surprised by as well as he's done.
Right,
honestly,
but no, your point is dead on though. But the thing is right now, I would say that Abrines has underperformed this year.
Defensively, he hasn't, but
I don't know. I feel like he's fallen off here recently too. He's just reverted back to who he was.
Ever since he's come back from being sick.
Yep. He hasn't been the same.
He's not been the same guy
outside of that Atlanta game, that 7-3 game.
But his grandma was there, so.
That's true. Maybe she needs to start coming
We need to get her tickets.
Let's get
start a GoFundMe to get Abrines' grandma tickets to every game.
If he can't get her tickets, then they probably should just trade him now. like if Alex, we're not going to be able to do it today. I'm sorry, man.
yeah, your grandma's going to have to stay back.
He seems like such a polite guy, too, that he'd be like, okay,
all right.
that's fine. I understand. But, yeah, no, Alex played 15 minutes against the Bulls, made 1 3, went 1 for 4. Against the Nets, he played 19 minutes and had 0 points.
And did you see his funny post?
I did. That was the best thing he did that night.
That was correct.
But that's not good enough. That's not good enough.
Making a funny post?
Right. Especially if you are what he is, which is a guy that shoots the ball, right? That's what he's supposed to be. Do you have his numbers for the season in front of you?
So he's 5th on the team in 3-point shooting.
Not good enough. What is that percentage?
32.3.
Not good enough.
That's what you expect Russ to be at.
He's averaging 20 minutes though. 5.8 points per game.
Not near good enough. Like that's what he does. That's all he does. That's all he really, really provides is that 3-point shooting. And right now he's not even providing that. Mm-hmm. That's not good. And then so, I mean, I think going into the season, our thoughts were, okay, yeah, Paul George is your main 3-point shooter, but outside of that, your next two are probably Patrick Patterson and Alex Abrines. Right?
We were wrong.
We were way off on that.
Clearly, it's Jeremy Grant as our 3-point specialist.
Yeah, it's Grant.
What were we thinking?
And it looks like Adams might be trying to creep out that way. You see him take that mid-ranger last night?
Almost had it.
Woo!
Almost had
Missed it, but God, I liked it.
Only by that much.
He was feeling himself. He took like 13 shots in the first quarter last night.
I love his floater so much. It just looks so smooth.
Mm-hmm.
He's gotten – Adams has been so confident on offense. Part of it is like, okay, so Nerlens Noel probably still needs more minutes. But I think just the more you watch Steven Adams, the more you're like, we can't really play them together that much. So, like, I just got to keep rolling with Adams.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think Adams is emerged because this is by far his best season. He looks better. Like,
oh, God, yeah.
He's even on the defensive end. I think he's being a better floor general than he ever has been in his career. He's finally come into his own both offensively and defensively. And so it's hard to pull a guy out like that.
He's gotten better every year of his career.
Yeah.
That's what.
This is a huge jump, though. I mean, this one is This is one that even people like nationally are starting to notice how big of a jump he's made.
How do you feel about them totally force feeding him the ball in the first quarter? I mean, I think a lot of people liked it, and it's fun to watch him go to work like that. And they're going to go away from him as the game progresses, which we have like 17 Twitter questions about that.
Yep.
However, like it was interesting, that you come out. I want to get you guys' take on this a little bit.
He had 2 20-point games this week. It's kind of fun.
It was weird. I mean, they force feed him to start the Bulls game all for first quarter, and he had a monster first quarter. And I'm sure they see a mismatch there, and they say you're going to take it to this rookie Wendell Carter Jr. and he's not going to be able to stop you, and he couldn't stop him.
Correct.
Well, he was a beast. Adams is usually the beast on the floor. There's not many guys out there that can match his physicality, his strength. However, I mean, I can't help but question it a little bit and maybe spreading those force feedings out a little bit and maybe it felt like just takes you out of what you're trying to do offensively as far as moving the ball and establishing some rhythm.
I think so, but also it kind of reminded me of that Rockets game. Whenever they were getting the switch, so when they played the Rockets earlier this year, anytime they would go to Adams, they were getting the switch with Harden on him. And if you're getting that, do it until it stops working.
That's true.
And he was on a rookie, and he was destroying him. So do it until it stops working, and then people are expecting you to go to that, and you can kind of play around with it and move out from it from there. Like, I like that idea.
And then if the Thunder play good defense, it's not an issue.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. But, I mean, I understand what you're saying, though. It does kind of get you out of, like, we're trying to move the ball and get stuff happening. But to me, if you've got that mismatch and you can exploit it, do it until they kind of adjust. And then when they adjust, you can kind of exploit their adjustment.
If there was something else that could happen besides force feeding Adams and him scoring, I'd like it a lot more. I do like it, though. Let me preface it with that. I'd like it a lot more if there were options, but it seems like Adams gets the ball and then he's going to shoot regardless because he's so deep in the paint. Mm-hmm. If they could move off of that, like move the ball off of that play, yeah, I'd like it a lot more. But at the end of the day, it's effective. And that's the thing. Like, this team can't shoot. So might as well get it to your giant guy in the middle and let him put up 5-footers that are going to go in most of the time. And until you can figure out something else that actually works, keep doing it and then pull off of it later once the defense reacts.
Which it did seem like they were trying to run a couple cuts across for him to pass to, and he's a good passer, but last night he was turning the ball over
Yeah.
when that happened. Like Terrence Ferguson made a nice cut, but Adams basically passed it into the legs of two bulls, and then Russ made a cut at one point in the game, and he just couldn't catch it. So
Yep. He was forcing it a little bit there because I'm sure he probably feels uncomfortable. Like I've had the ball every single possession.
Yeah, right.
Like I need to pass it. I'm not used to this. I need to make some plays. But defense is probably the truth is when he gets the ball every single possession, defenses probably aren't just gonna freak out. They're gonna be like, fine, like keep doing this. Especially if the Thunder aren't playing defense. I mean, if they're not playing good defense.
and you're getting threes on the other end.
Right.
Like, sure.
2s for 3s, and that's, or just foul the shit out of Adams and send him
he's
to the
only
line.
going to make 1 out of 2 every time.
Yep.
Every time, 1 out of 2.
Every single
It's either going to be
time.
the first one or it's going to be the second one. He's not going to make both.
We should make that a poll. Does every time Adams goes to the line, does he make only 1?
Excluding the Detroit game, because he was like 7 for 7 from the line, which was an anomaly.
That's true. But then
It was awesome.
But then at the Nets, I think it was 1 for 6 in the Nets game. It was something like that.
That is correct.
Yeah.
16.7%, which is
For-
not what you want.
For every 100 free throws that Steven Adams takes, he makes 53 of them.
Not good enough.
Volume free throw shooter is what he is.
The thing is he could be. Like, he could get to the line all the time, and I wish that he would
And if
make
he did it, yeah.
I wish he would make them more, and I wonder, which we can get into that when we get into Russ, but I wonder if that's kind of the hesitancy there with Russell Westbrook and him not being as aggressive attacking the rim lately because, God, his free throws. That's a whole other story. Let's get back to Abrines and Patterson, though. We kind of got off there.
Man.
Which one of them is the bigger issue right now?
Both?
No, you got to pick one. This is...
I would say Abrines to me right now because, like, I've already given up on Patrick.
Yeah.
Like, I've just accepted that he's
bad?
not going to be
More like
good
bad
anymore.
trick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad trick.
Patrick
No.
Patterson.
But,
Patrick
like-
Patterson. Boom.
God damn it.
That's a warning.
That's strike 1 today.
Technical foul.
But Abrines, I mean, you see these flashes from him and you're like, dude, you could do this. Like, if you could just make him in
Yeah.
more often.
Yeah.
But it's just like, and he seems like he could provide other things. Like, he can go off the dribble. Like, he can do some other stuff. He just doesn't tend to do it very well very often. And that's just, it's frustrating.
Yeah, he really had a lot of opportunities to do those off the dribble stuff lately.
Yeah,
since he's been
that's
back,
true.
really. Like, because at the start of the year, he was doing those more often.
Yeah, and I think it was throwing his defender off a little, and you had to kind of respect it and at least stay off of him some.
That's a
but
confidence thing with him, though, right? I mean,
completely, it seems like. And it's just like since he's been sick, he lost some confidence somehow.
yeah, this is annoying to me since he's been sick. Like, everyone gets sick a little bit, dude.
Doesn't just ruin your
get it together.
psyche.
Get it together.
That's some bad flu.
Yeah.
That's some real
Yes.
bad flu. And when he puts the ball on the deck, he's not a bad passer, so he can make plays off of it. I agree with you, though. I think Abrines is the bigger problem because despite the fact that if you look at them on paper, both of them were supposed to be plus 3-point shooters, not above average. With Abrines, I think he addresses more of a need where because of Jeremy Grant, Patrick Patterson's impact is kind of lessened, even if he
right.
was playing really well. So it kind of all falls on Abrines. Abrines needs to be that guy. We need that wing shooting 3-point specialist, and that's his role, and he's not fulfilling that role well enough.
Yeah, because it'd be nice to be able to close with Abrines sometimes.
Yeah.
And right now you can't. Like, you just can't.
Yeah, there's no reason for him to be there.
Right, which you'll always close with Jeremy Grant, but you don't want to have to always close with Terrence Ferguson.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want that to have
But
to
right
be
now,
your-
it feels like he's better at shooting.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to
It
say.
is. We had a question here that kind of coincided with something I put in the outline. Marcus at Mars, a lot of A's in there.
Mavs.
It's got to be time we move on from both Abrines and Pat. No. I have more faith in Pat because of his long career, but both Alex and him are only good at shooting, and if they aren't consistent, shouldn't we try to get a consistent shooter?
I like that, Mavs.
Do you guys feel like one of these guys is getting traded? You feel that way? I mean,
I'm for it.
yeah.
I don't know if it's going to happen.
The hard thing is here
Is it gonna
is
happen?
that, well, even he's just trying to guess what I'm gonna.
I'll keep doing it.
No. Is like if they're not playing well, why would another team want that?
Yeah.
But I think that you have a little more leeway, a little more leverage there in the Patrick Patterson situation because of like the questioner asked, his long career, he has a track record, where Alex Abrines still probably can't quite be trusted, but maybe someone wants to take a gamble on him.
Yeah, and I mean, it's another thing of like maybe these other teams see our system and they're like, well, they just don't work there, and we could take, like, we've seen him be able to shoot, and if we could get him running off screens and this and that, like maybe we could get it to work here. But it does hurt their value a lot when they're not producing. Like it's rough, especially when you're just watching Patrick Patterson go out there, play 18 minutes and get 0 points and 0 anything, 0, 0, 0.
So bad. It's so
like,
bad.
what are you doing?
How is he so bad? Like what? He wasn't even close to this bad last year, and we thought that he was going to take a step forward from last year because he wasn't good last year.
He took a tumble backwards, not even a step back.
He just laid down. That's all he did.
Yeah.
So if you were to package Abrines and Patterson, say some team out there was willing to take a chance on these guys, would you rather get a wing in return to replace Abrines, or would you rather get a backup 4, a solid 4 to replace Patterson?
I feel like
because you still have Ferguson, you might have Robertson coming back, you have Diallo, you have TLC, you have Nader. Obviously, those guys aren't really playing right now. You're a little more thin up front, but maybe you still want, I don't know.
I mean, if you could do that for a consistent shooter, like if you could get somebody that you can trust at the wing,
I guess the position doesn't
Please.
matter at that point.
Yeah.
Just get whoever it is that
somebody
can
that could
shoot.
shoot.
Yeah.
Just anyone.
Yeah.
But please.
What about Channing Frye?
What is he, 74?
I don't know. Maybe.
Feels like he's been in the league forever.
And he can't get on the court with the Cavs, I'm pretty sure is who he's
So
with.
let's pass on that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
But maybe.
Maybe he's just in that bad system.
I hope. Maybe.
I don't know. Like, Channing Frye from 7 years ago.
Okay, perfect.
That's
Perfect.
what
Yes,
the
that
Thunder
guy.
need.
Bring him in.
Just get Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah.
So
The Bulls will trade anything for anything. We've learned that in the past. They're not great.
Dylan Kettles from YouTube brings up a good point. Like, Abrines is an expiring contract, so that definitely does
He's
make
restricted.
him, right, but at least it's a better than, like, he's on a 5-year deal right now. Like, how are you going to move him at all?
And Pat's on some good money. Not for his performance.
I think that the restricted status of Abrines' contract actually adds value to him.
Yeah, it helps now.
Yep.
Once you get closer to the trade deadline, the All-Star break, that kind of time where teams kind of start to, like, look at themselves and be like, we're not going to be able to do anything, kind of sell off. And if you can get an expiring contract on a young guy that has upside, like, maybe you're willing to part with an older guy that can shoot that would help out the Thunder.
Yes.
Well, and there's the idea of Ariza, like it's expensive,
please.
but we have the Melo trade exception there, and Abrines and Pat are both making 5, so that kind of would end up working out ish.
But you can't part.
Oh, but you can't package.
Package a trade exception.
Trade
with a player.
exceptions.
Yeah.
So you'd have to package something else with them.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
I think if you want to go get Ariza, right, I'd have to pull up the contracts, but just based off of memory, I think, God,
He's getting
it'd be
15 for a
hard
year.
not to include Andre Robertson in that trade.
Yeah.
Which, to me,
I mean, you only need another $5 million.
I would probably do it. I would probably go Robertson and Abrines, and that might be a trade the Suns would be interested in. Because you have Robertson for another year.
Yeah.
You have Abrines restricted, and that's a guy that seems to fit in with what the Suns are trying to do.
Right.
That's something
For a
like
year-
if
for
the
a
Thunder
year
are
of Ariza?
serious and the Thunder are wanting to spend this money this year because they're already the highest paid team easily with
Yeah.
the luxury tax situation. I mean, I consider that, man.
Ariza's at 1 year, $15 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he expires, which I think is a perfect situation for the Thunder
Right.
because
You kind of would be okay getting off of it.
to me is
Because he's kind of
ideal.
He's that perfect. Like if you need him to play the wing, he can. He's a big guy though. He can play the 4.
Yep, he can play the 4, and he's a knockdown shooter in the corners, especially.
You can trust him.
You can trust him. Guy
It'd
who
be
would be
nice.
perfect. I mean, he would. I feel like he would close games for the
Yeah.
Thunder. Like that's how good Trevor Ariza can be. I think that would be an awesome move.
Yeah.
We really got into that.
But I mean, I definitely think if you can move those two guys, if you can find some way to do that, pull the trigger.
I agree.
Can you do that without losing a Ferguson or a Diallo though?
I don't know. Are you against? Are you just totally anti losing one of them if that's what it takes? Like,
No.
Like what if the Thunder are sitting second in the West in 3 weeks and they have a good record, but God, that shooting problem is persistent. Abrines just hasn't gotten any better. Patterson hasn't gotten any better. Are you willing to go maybe Dre, Abrines, and Diallo for 1 year of Trevor Ariza.
That sounds steep.
It does.
That sounds steep,
Sounds
man.
steep.
I really hate giving up those 2 young guys, like unless it's for something that's like solid and it's gonna stay
But if you're
around.
second in the West and you're like, God, maybe we
maybe
have a
we'll
shot.
do it.
Maybe we have a shot to knock off Golden State if they just have one injury or something, which it doesn't feel likely.
3 injuries, maybe.
Yeah,
and we'll do it.
3, 4. Like we did come up with an elaborate kidnapping plan or something the other day about Steph Curry.
Jury duty.
Yeah, we were gonna get him jury duty.
Oh, I forgot.
I think it might work.
I think don't I end up going to prison for this or something?
Yeah, you're gonna have to serve some time, but that's all right. Like Thunder are gonna
Sometimes you got to make sacrifices.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get framed. I do the dirty work. You just get framed.
It's a team
I
sport.
mean, now it's recorded that you're framing me, so
Oh God, that's not gonna work out well, is it?
help me out, guys.
All right, let's move on to Russell Westbrook. It's been interesting, Russell Westbrook's play in the past year. Well, this year. He's been all over the place, right? Like, I can't get a read on what he's doing this year. Like, I know that it's a learning process with adding
bit of
Schroeder
a
to the
roller
mix.
coaster.
It is. It's a roller coaster. I have some statistical splits for you here, and I find these very, very interesting. Okay, so in wins this season, this is in wins, games the Thunder win. Russell Westbrook's averaging 22.7 points on 18 shots a game, 4 3-point attempts per game, 9.3 rebounds, 10.5 assists, 2.3 steals, and 3.8 turnovers. Amazing numbers. Ideal numbers for Russ, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In losses,
No.
points are about the same, 22.8. Field goal attempts, 4.5 more, 22.4 field goal attempps. 3-point attempts, about 4 more, 7.8 3-point attempts.
So
per
you're
game.
just
There's
taking
your
4
problem.
extra threes.
There's your problem.
Yeah, you're right. Pretty much just taking 4 extra threes. 13.4 rebounds. So he's averaging 4 more rebounds per game in losses, and an assist less in losses, a steal less in losses, and 2 more turnovers per game in losses. Does he need to rein it in a little bit? Because his numbers were off the charts in the Nets and Bulls games. His triple-double numbers were crazy. I mean, right? You look at the box score, and they're crazy. But you saw games a couple weeks ago when he's kind of – the Thunder were letting Schroeder run the show a little bit more when they were on the court together, and they're not doing that as much when they're on the court together here these past few games. Russ is still very much in control. Do you think he needs to let go a little bit?
I mean, it's tough to do that with him because you don't want to like prevent his greatness from coming out, but also you don't want him to be that like off the chain like craziness that you see sometimes. I think as far as 3-point shooting, he needs to keep those down. Like that's
For sure.
an obvious thing. Like he's taken way too many of them this year and they're not working out. Like
Yeah.
just keep it around 4 a game maybe
Or just don't.
or 2. Take 2.
Like, if you're wide open and it's a catch-and-shoot 3, take it. But
Yeah, but that's the weird thing is he's like taking the ones that he's absolutely going to miss, and then he's passing up catch and shoot open 3-pointers, and I'm like, wait.
backwards.
That was the one you were supposed to.
Flip it.
Why?
Yeah. Like, he's trying to learn how to do it or something
weird.
still. Hey, like, I think one thing with Russ, it's really hard to break his habits. Like, he has habits. He's hard-headed by nature, right?
That's why he's so good.
And it translates on the basketball court. Like, it does. He's probably like that in life, and he's like that on the basketball court.
Yeah.
I personally think he does need to pull it back just a little bit. And not because I don't think he's still capable of going those MVP moments, but save him for an appropriate time. Here's an appropriate time is when it's not an appropriate time when you're playing the Nets and Bulls, to me. And I know that he played a great fourth quarter. I'm not trying to dog on the game he played against the Nets. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just saying I think throughout the whole game, maybe his stamp was a little too much on that game.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of moments where he's overly forcing things. He's like charging 100 miles an hour into the lane and then spinning and passing in the midst of a spin.
Right.
And you're like, well, that probably isn't going to turn out well.
Yeah.
You're doing circles and passing. So
Pirouetting.
yeah, like there's just moments like that where he's like overly, he's like trying to throw it between 3 guys' legs, and like we've seen him do that successfully before.
Sure.
But like there's like you're kind of saying there's moments where you're feeling it and it's working, and then there's moments where you're not having such a good night and you're still forcing those types of things.
I think where it gets me, though, is the fact that we've seen this team be successful without him having to do so much. So I don't want him to have to do so much. Let these guys grow. Let this team grow around you, because we know you have confidence in yourself. I mean, I think it's hard for him to let go, though, right? Because it's It's basketball. It's fun. It's fun to him.
Well, and so in those wins, when his steals are up, it's because he has dialed it back on the offensive end. He's got more energy to expand, and you see the reason why he was all first team all defense in the Pac-10 before he came out of college. Like, you see that he's got the ability to do it. It's just, and it kind of makes sense now. Of like, he expended so much energy on the offensive end of the last few seasons that it was just taxing to play defense like he could, because he had to do so much on the other end. Now, when he dials it back, and I agree, he does need to rein it in a little bit, because it improves his defense, it improves this team, and it would really help though if there was one more shooter. If one guy could just really step up and be more reliable, be a guy that Russ can trust.
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
I think trust is a big thing. Sorry not to cut you off.
No,
but trust is a really big thing with Russ.
I agree. Because I think it makes it harder on him when he doesn't have a shooter as far as making plays for others. So it makes him have to add that little extra effort to just make a play.
Yeah. Even just to pass to a guy, you have to think, well, is that better than me doing this?
Right.
And a lot of times for him, it's a no, because him doing anything is probably going to be better.
But you see how good Schroeder is. Mm-hmm. You see how good he is. Let him do what he does. Like
I really do like Schroeder having the ball in his hand when he's on the floor with Russ. Like, it seems like everything works out really well in those instances.
I don't know that this will keep up, but I will say right now that Schroeder gets to the rim quicker than Russell Westbrook gets to the rim off the dribble. Right now, he is. He's getting his first step and just getting to the rim is quicker. He's getting there very quickly. Russ just still, I don't know if he's still hesitant. I don't know. Like, what is the deal with that? Do you feel like Russ is attacking as much as we're used to? Even in the beginning of the year when he first came back, I felt like he was attacking well, but I feel like he's really pulled that back. And I don't know. You think he's protecting himself? You think because he's a smart player. Like, he's smart. He's been in the league a long time. He might be protecting himself a little bit.
He did on a few of those, like, because he hits the ground pretty hard when he does that. I wonder if there are a few falls that he took that just kind of like not banged him up to the point where he's not going to be able to play the same way, but one where he just kind of feels it like, maybe I shouldn't do that, because the next time I do that, it's going to be a lot worse than just kind of like my ankle turned funny, but I can still run it.
It's 100%. Like in football, like if you catch a pass over the middle and you get clocked, you're probably going to think about it the next time you run across the middle.
Yeah, and I think there's something to that. Like, it does seem, I mean, because like you were saying earlier this year, he was attacking like relentlessly, and it was awesome, and was working out really well. And ever since he's come back from that, he's gotten back to taking a little bit more of those mid-range shots, which I'm okay with. But threes, though, are like he's really chucking them up sometimes. And it's,
if he just made them, I wouldn't mind.
No, I agree with that. Yeah.
You agree?
Just make 10 a game.
We can all agree. Just make them.
Yeah.
Well,
this really doesn't seem that hard of a problem.
He hit that one on campaign last night after lost the ball, got it back, and then just like, I'll just shoot this three, and it's in.
Yeah. Also, campaign blocked one of his shots, which was weird.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Wendell Carter
got him on a dunk.
That dunk was going to be badass, though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but like that's the thing.
Wendell Carter.
That's the thing that worries me about Russ a little bit, though, is like, God, if he'd have made that dunk, I feel like he'd have gone on a 5-game hot streak where now he's just feeling himself, but instead he gets stuffed at the rim.
We would have won that game by 12.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're right. Maybe now he's questioning himself because he got blocked at the rim, and that's like his signature play. And now maybe he's like feeling like he lost a step. I don't know. Like, I hope that doesn't get in his head.
And the open court layups, the finger rolls. There's not the awesome breakaway dunk that we're so used to.
That's true.
The last two I can remember, he just went up and very casually laid it off the glass. Or last night it was a finger roll right at the center of the rim.
I was reading Darnell's piece on The Athletic, and he said he acted like it was something he's not giving away fans. So like when he's playing away games, that he's just doing layups. Huh. He kind of mentioned that, and I don't know if that's an actual thing, but it's kind of funny if that's true.
That is,
I would love that so much.
Yeah,
that is the most Russ thing.
That would be next level. You guys want to play a game? The game is legitimate or preposterous. So while Jason pulls it up and gets ready, let's do it.
Legitimate or preposterous?
All right.
Burn the ears.
You know you love it. Legitimate or preposterous. It's our oldest game.
It's a great one. It's a staple.
It's number 2 on my list.
Is it?
Everyone knows what my first one is, though.
Guess that shoe size?
Who's that guy?
Who's that guy? Yeah.
Guess that's shoe size.
God, we haven't done that in forever. We're going to
bring
switch
that
gears?
back.
We're going to switch gears and just
I'll
do
get
it?
some shoes right now. Reigning champ.
Yeah, we have a guy that's legitimate and a guy that's preposterous, and he's buying in. So we're going to incorporate the stock market too.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We're mixing them all together.
It's just a super game.
We should have done guess that shoe size, Jason versus Manny.
Ooh, I'd kick his ass.
Manny would have won.
Legitimate or preposterous? Number 1, you expect the Thunder to go at least 3-1 this upcoming week versus the Jazz, at New Orleans, at Denver, and versus the Clippers. These are 4 decent to good teams here.
I'm going to go, sadly, preposterous. I'm going a 2-2 here. I just can see them. I feel like the Jazz are kind of getting stuff together. The Clippers are tough.
Yeah.
Denver is going to be really hard.
Yeah.
I can definitely see them losing 2 games this week. So
Denver just lost Millsap. Harris is going to be out for a while, but yeah, at Denver is always hard.
Legitimate, because
I like it.
I think they're going to steal one of the road games, and I think they go 2-0 at home. I know the Jazz are getting better, but I think there's that, hey, this is the first time we've seen you since the playoffs with Mitt Romney waving bye. So we've got something
he's
to
still
play
a
for
person?
here.
I didn't even remember.
So if they go 2-2 or worse, God forbid, failure of a week, bad week for the Thunder.
2-2 is not a failure, but that's
1 and 3
definite
definitely
C
is bad.
and a low
A little
C.
disappointing.
Yeah.
1 and 3 is terrible.
1 and 3 is a F already. There's
Yeah.
no D here.
All right, legitimate or preposterous. The Thunder should hold off until the buyout market rather than making any trades. And Thunderup at Virgin Harry kind of had this one. He said, are there any buyout candidates or trade pieces at the 4 that you would like to see the Thunder try and make a trade for?
I have some candidates. I have a list, and it's very interesting. But as far as the buyout market over trading, it's kind of hard to make a snap judgment on yes or no on that, legitimate or preposterous, because like, what if a trade presents itself? It's like, well, yeah, do that trade.
Yeah, obviously that one.
But I do like the idea of the buyout market for the Thunder this year because they have decent depth, and I don't want to have to get rid of any of that. You know, I'd like them to just add to that depth, because they still could just use it. Like we've been talking about this whole podcast, they could still just use that one guy.
So that's clearly at the expense of Deontay Burton, though.
You mean as far as playing time goes?
As far as him getting that. So
contract.
obviously, like last week
Maybe.
when Deontay was playing a whole bunch, it was like, well, Burton's just going to convert to a normal
Sure.
contract, and he's going to take up that last roster
Yeah,
spot.
because he's
Buyout
burning
market,
days pretty quick.
Yeah, buyout market is clearly going to go completely against that thought.
Yeah, I mean, you could always, if you wanted to sign Deontay Burton, you could always just cut Nader later in the year. I mean,
yeah.
you could do something
Right.
like that. But even if you do have to not give Burton that full contract, like there's next year too. Like Burton's not going to get this team over the hump in the playoffs,
Right.
in my opinion. I know there's a lot of people out there that really love Burton. I like Burton. I love what he brings to the table, but I don't think he's going to be a guy that's just going to get you over. You know,
He's not solving all the problems.
it's not going to be a 25-minute per game guy in the playoffs. It's just not going to happen. But buyout candidates, I think there's some interesting ones here. Start with the Nets, who have been a little worse than I think expected. But Damari Carroll, he might be a guy in his career at this point, ready to move on, ready to go help a contender. He played for the Hawks at one point when they won 60 games. You guys like this one?
I like Damari Carroll.
I think
he
it's
plays
a
solid
good fit.
defense.
I think it's a really good fit
He
with
can
the
shoot
Thunder.
sometimes.
He makes $15 a year.
$15?
$15.
That is a
Man,
hell of a
that's gotta
contract.
be-
That's
against
why
the CBA.
he's pissed about it. He wants out of it.
Said, I can't afford shit.
this is so far under minimum wage, I don't even know what to say.
I've been eating ramen for years.
When you guys said 15, I thought you meant million. No, they just meant dollars.
I have to fire my agent
Fine
right
print.
now.
Fine print.
I mean, like a hot dog in New York's like $15.
Yeah. He's not. He's got a. Yeah. Not good.
Oh, okay. Another New Yorker, Courtney Lee, got 2 years left, so this might be a little out there. I think New York would rather trade him, obviously, instead of just buy him out, especially because they just bought out Joakim Noah, who had 2 years left on his deal, so this would be a lot of just buying out. But hey, if they're trying to just clean slate,
Which they probably should do.
maybe they should. But I think that they could get something for Courtney Lee, although I think he makes around $13 million a year, $13 a year.
I've got it in a second.
He's an interesting fit with the Thunder, although I'm not sold that he would be
I still feel like his shooting is not going to end up like when he
Well,
comes here,
yeah.
he'd be like, "Oh, damn it,
Yeah.
you too."
I think you're right. J.R. Smith.
Oh God,
This is
oh no.
this is one like if no one's making a trade for J.R. Smith, but maybe they do, but maybe they don't, and maybe Cleveland buys him out because he wants out of there so bad, and some contender takes a flyer on him. Although I think that contender would be Golden State.
Does he
seems
realize
like
it?
a Golden State guy?
Does he realize it if it gets bought out? Do you think he even
He
notices?
still
He's
comes
just
to
like,
practice.
Hey man, why? Where's
It's
my locker?
The J.R. Smith
the-
meme. What they do in my locker? They moved my locker.
It's a similar thing with Corver. Like Corver was going out to. Well, now,
Oh.
granted, this was a timing thing, but he was going out to shoot around for the
Some guy
Cavs
just
game,
comes up.
and the guy's like, "Hey, buddy, you got
Hey, old buddy, old
traded."
pal.
Oh, okay.
You look at
I'll-
Twitter much?
This one is one of my favorites on the list. Wes Matthews for the
Ooh,
Mavs.
yes.
Now, the Mavs have been playing good ball, so they're not going to buy him out if they're fighting for a playoff spot. But expecting them to fall off a little bit and not make the playoffs,
Maybe Doncic gets punched in his punchable face.
maybe
Has
that.
to sit out for a while.
Maybe the Mavericks are ready to just kind of put the ball completely in Doncic's and Dennis Smith's hands and let them just go to work and let them take control of the team. Wes Matthews have an opportunity to compete for something. That's an interesting one,
I would very much enjoy Wes Matthews,
especially
being
in
on
a
this team.
limited role.
Yeah,
Every single one of those guys. Oh, well, Courtney Lee's only played 2 games, but I've been trying to like follow along and like because obviously 3-point shooting, like
Yep.
that's a big focus here. Wes Matthews stands out from all those guys you just mentioned because he's shooting 38.8% from 3 right now.
Go get him, Sammy.
which
That would be first on the team, slightly above Jeremy Grant.
Ooh.
just insane.
What
still.
is Grant at?
387.
Oh, on the year?
Yeah.
Oh my!
It's incredible. He was 75% against the Bulls.
Put him in the competition. Put him in it.
Just pulls up Paul George. Shit.
Taj
Only
Gibson.
hit it from the corners.
Taj Gibson. I think this one's a pipe dream because I think Minnesota is going to be fighting for a playoff spot. However, he's they got Dario Saric there now. Maybe they think he's a little bit better of a fit. I think they like Taj's toughness. Is interesting though. He's making $14 million.
Bro,
What?
Taj Gibson is a timber bull. He ain't going nowhere.
That's true.
Tibbs is there. He's there.
That's right. But if they fire
I
Tibbs,
was going to
Then
say, how
he's
much
gone.
longer is Tibbs
He's
going to be
gone.
there?
he's gone. We don't. Lou Alding's gone too. But no one wants Lou Alding. He's not on this list. Zach Randolph is one. I
No,
think he's
thanks.
a little too old, too fat, too slow, too trigger happy. Just likes to shoot the ball too much.
Yeah.
And for my liking, there might be some people out there that like that. Amon Shumpert, another King. Obviously, the Kings are playing well right now, but I don't expect that to keep up.
Yeah. Shumpert's a weird one because there was a time years ago where I would have been like, yes, hell yes, bring in Amon Shumpert. And then he went away, and I was like, I definitely don't want him on this team. And then every time he's played us this year, he's been incredible.
Yeah, if
So
you
bring
just
him
base
back.
it off that.
Yeah.
That-
That,
well,
way we don't have to.
So this is the problem with Amon Shumpert, though. Like because he's been so good against Oklahoma City, he's going to be great in practice, earn himself a lot of playing time, and then be terrible in games.
Yeah, that's true. That's how that works.
Probably true. Last one is Trevor Ariza. I don't think that they buy him out. It doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense. There's going to be trade suitors for him.
The Rockets are probably getting him back.
Who are they going to... This is the weird thing, though. Like, who are the Rockets going to trade for him? Like, do the Rockets have any assets to trade?
Carmelo Anthony.
Clint Capella?
James Harden.
Yeah. Like, and they don't want to trade Clint Capella. That's a big part of their
That's
success.
not going to work. Yeah, it does. It's weird. What a
Paul.
strange team that is this year.
Next, legitimate or preposterous. We got one from Twitter. Aaron at @ayount_15. Legitimate or preposterous. For the right price, everyone is tradable except for Russ or PG.
Preposterous.
Ooh, I knew he was going to say that.
Because there's one more name on that.
Steven
Steven
Adams.
Yeah. Everyone, if you throw Steven Adams in there, I say legitimate. But without Steven Adams, it's preposterous in my
Even
mind.
in Anthony Davis.
What if
Somehow.
Yes.
what if the Warriors came in and offered Klay Thompson for Steven Adams?
Trade him.
Really?
I don't know. That's hard.
No, because then like
you
that's
don't have
that's
a-
been the glaring weakness. Like that's been the one strength that the Thunder have consistently had is
It would
Steven
suck
Adams.
ass if Steven Adams was on the Warriors.
yeah.
Yeah, it would.
That would be such a
Yeah.
bummer.
But
yeah,
like
you don't.
obviously,
God, it would
I
be
don't.
such
The
a
Warriors
bummer.
aren't doing that this year. That was like, but if they didn't have Cousins, it's not like that inconceivable. Like they could be like, man, that's our huge weakness.
Right.
You get Steven Adams, and that sure is everything up with
Yeah,
this
they're
team.
so good.
But I'm at the point where honestly, like I don't think Sam Presti even Mike Fields phone calls from Golden State because it's like, look, I'm still
That's
mad
true.
about the Kevin Durant
Yeah.
thing. So
I was trying to think of another team that might have something big to offer, but
It's
my
hard, yeah.
brain wasn't that quick. Yeah, I don't know. I go legitimate on this one. I think that if the price was exactly right for Adams, they'd think about it. I do, but
Yeah, I don't think they're just gonna hang the phone up.
yeah.
They might.
you
Good
okay
take.
there?
Way to waffle.
That's what I'd do.
I don't think they will, but they might.
All right. Paul George will hit at least 2 more game-winning shots this season.
Is this a legitimate or preposterous?
That's correct.
You didn't say it, though.
Legitimate or preposterous?
Oh.
Paul George will hit at least 2 more game-winning shots this season.
I go
His
preposterous.
first one was the other night. So.
I go preposterous. And his first one of his career
Yeah.
was the other night. That's a lot to ask, man.
And it wasn't even a buzzer beater.
Yeah, but it was a game-winning
it was
shot.
close.
Well, right, but I'm saying like it wasn't like a traditional. It was one that there was still plenty of time, and the Nets had a chance if they don't fumble away.
They
But anyways.
they inbounded it to Jared Dudley.
Sometimes you make a mistake. I'm sorry.
Jared Dudley.
Why would you? No.
Speaking of buyout candidates,
Oh, Jared Dudley. Bring him in.
You guys
But
want
don't inbound the ball to him.
the
Doesn't work.
roundest player in the NBA.
Ooh,
At least
looks like an egg.
head-wise.
Looks
yeah.
like a big old egg with a headband on it.
Yeah, he does. He looks like a character from South Park. Like he'd be in like the ways like they drew him and then they printed him out as a human. Like that's what he
3D
looks
printer. Good thing.
Preposterous because the Thunder won't be in any situations hitting a game winner
Because they're just blowing out for the rest.
like. Plus, you have to take into account the times that Russ takes those shots,
Yeah.
which will happen.
I think it'll be half and half. I think he can get it.
So
I believe in him.
Has Oklahoma City had what maybe 3 situations this year? Bulls, Nets, and then one other. Like they haven't been in many situations
God, I don't
where
even
they've had
remember
to
another
shoot
one.
game winners.
Yeah, it's.
So
I feel like I
haven't
don't
been a
even
bunch.
remember another one. Let's just sit here for a bit and think on it. Let's go through each game.
You guys in your cars, think about it with us.
Next one. L Taker at L Taker 4 submitted one. Legitimate or preposterous. One of either Diallo or Ferguson will not be on the team next year. This is tough.
I'm going to go preposterous here.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think they're going to keep him. I think they like both those guys a lot.
How would you do this? If you were to rank most likely to be on the team next year to least likely to be on the team next year, let's throw in Andre Robertson in there. Robertson, Diallo, Ferguson. How do you rank them? Most likely to be on the team next year is who?
Robertson.
I think it's still Dre.
Interesting. Next.
Terrence Ferguson.
Yeah, I'd say Diallo's at the
Is that
end,
because
but-
you think Diallo might have a little more value than Ferguson right now? And a little more.
Yeah. Well, as far as trade value, yes, but I think value to the team right now, because Terrence Ferguson has been the starter in Dre's stead. I think Ferguson has more value to this team than Diallo does. He's a firecracker.
I don't think I'd put Dre number 1. I really don't. Like, I think that they...
Who's your number 1?
I think Ferguson might be my number 1 as far as being on the team next year. I don't know, though. It's hard. That's a hard question.
Yeah, it is tough.
It's really tough to do.
Terrence Ferguson's been playing really well. Is this kind of like, it seems like the Thunder do this every few years. Like you had Thabo Sefolosha, and then you got Andre Robertson. Sefolosha got phased out, and then it was Robertson. Is Ferguson just the next one in line? Like we're trying to phase out Robertson eventually, maybe?
I think that's the basis for my thinking here.
Because like maybe these setbacks keep happening.
It's fair. I
Getting
mean,
a little concerned.
he's like over the last few weeks, like you see it more and more every time he's out there. Like he's making more of an impact on the game. His defense is serviceable, if not like it's great at times.
He's getting more confident offensively.
Yeah, he looks better and better every single game that he plays, and like you knew what the upside was already, but now like every game it seems more tangible. It seems palpable what that upside truly is for Terrence Ferguson.
Yeah.
Let's do some
just
social medias.
Social media inquiries.
Read them to me.
I'm glad I took all that time to make those LRPs, all 2 of them that I had.
Oh my god,
wait,
I forgot.
Wait. Pause. Go ahead.
What? No, they're not that important.
You didn't put them in there.
No, I know because I asked you if I should put them in there.
Yeah. Still though.
Bring him out.
All right. Legitimate or preposterous. Thunder will finish the season above 33% from 3. They are currently at 31.7.
Unfortunately, I go preposterous.
God damn it.
Unfortunately, like I think it goes up a little bit, but
I'm gonna go legitimate because we're bringing in that Ariza fella.
Wow.
Fair.
Is that a prediction?
Sure. Because predictions matter.
We should probably write
They do.
We should really write these down.
Because what
more
I
often.
say ends up probably happening or not.
And it matters about everything, too. Like, your credibility is out the window.
Yeah. Then no one will trust me ever again.
Hey, the Thunder are no longer last in
Yeah,
the
they're
league.
28th.
28th. Just ahead of the Pistons and Hawks.
Woo! Killing it.
Just above 33.3% would be 25th in the league.
Yeah, so that's not that big of a jump.
No, and I think they were 24th last year.
Yeah.
They
So
really suck at that shooting thing.
Presley didn't care much for it.
Yeah. Never been much for making baskets.
on the offensive front, since we're doing this,
Okay.
legitimate or preposterous, Thunder will finish better than 15th in offensive rating. They are currently 19th.
Legitimate. I think they get better. I think their defense slips a little. I don't think they finished first defensively, but I feel like they finished top 3, top 4. But I think their offense gets better, and I'm willing to let that defense slip a little bit if that offense picks it up.
I like it.
What do you think their ceiling is?
Like I said earlier, I think it's 10. Unless you bring in someone that can knock down shots, Trevor Ariza. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be hard to get past 10 unless all of a sudden they just click. But it seems hard for this team, and it's been hard for Thunder teams in years past to just click all of a sudden in midseason.
All right.
Hit it now. There you go.
Had a false start earlier, so.
Social
5
media
yards.
inquiries.
That's why we had to revert 5 minutes in the podcast.
That's right.
Legitimate or wasn't.
I'll just keep hitting your 15-second rewind.
This is my fault. From ThunderFan123 at Fan123Thunder. Why is defense weak in past couple of games? Russ being more selfless is good, but does he still have it in him to be unstoppable for periods of time?
Two-parter. Well, I think defense is focus, concentration.
Yep.
That's what it feels like to
And
me.
you're playing the Nets and the Bulls. It's probably hard to be real excited about defending them.
And then the second part was what? Russ taking over?
Yeah, how do you say that again? Second part of that one?
Sorry, I'd already moved on.
So had I mentally.
5-yard penalty. That's too bad.
Russ being more selfless is good, but does he still have it in him to be unstoppable for periods of time?
I definitely think he does.
I think he does.
Like, I think he's been a little hesitant, like we talked about earlier, just smashing to the rim. But I think there's going to be a game soon that he takes over and reminds everybody.
It's a weird thing that sticks out to me, and I don't think I haven't heard anyone else talk about it really, and I know I talked about it on the last podcast, I think. But in that Hawks game, when he got into it with Vince Carter, and then he got angry, and then he started playing like 110%.
That was awesome.
And he did take over for like a good 45 seconds.
Yeah.
It just reminded me like, oh my God, he can do this. Like it made me feel like he's just not, like he knows it's not playoffs. He knows it's the first trimester of this season.
Taking care of some baby twins, you know?
Yeah. Like
Gotta get them settled on a schedule first.
He's 30. He's not 22 anymore. Like he's learned how to pace himself a little bit, I think. But at the same time, I wish that he could pace himself and still, like when Russ paces himself, it doesn't look like he's pacing himself. That's the thing. We can only pick and choose.
He's at like 99%.
Yeah, because we've watched him for 11 years or whatever.
Speaking of Russ, from Russ MVP at Russ MVP 19, is Westbrook trying to make too much happen on offense with his passing? Seems like he is forcing guys to get involved.
Sounds like what I was saying earlier. Yeah,
I think he's a little bit. I think he is a little bit. But I think that comes and goes like with how much responsibility you put on his shoulders. Mm-hmm. I didn't look at his usage percentage in the past week, but I would be interested to look at that, and I will as you move on to the next question.
Also, kind of a function of just like, you know, we talked about trust. We talked about this being so early in the season. Like, Russ kind of has to force guys to get involved a little bit because it just makes you, if you can force guys to get involved and they can become more comfortable and Russ can develop that trust with them, that makes you better when you have to be better in May. It's still December. You can still you can get by with making mistakes and trying out new things because it only makes you stronger by the time May rolls around when you need to be at your absolute best.
Yeah.
Fair.
From Luke Helms at Luke the Duke 4550.
Got a 4450.
How long can we go with
zip code?
Yeah.
How long can we go with the free throw misses being a huge problem? Can we be a contender with that being such a glaring problem?
Oh man, that's a good question. I don't know. Like, I want to say no. Like I do.
Yeah.
They got to make these free throws, man.
It's rough.
Like the starting lineup alone outside of Paul George is horrible free throw shooting.
Yeah.
Grant's been okay.
Yeah,
but
it's. I mean, I don't feel like you can. Like you let so many games slip away when you don't make them, and they're. I just don't understand.
Yeah, Donovan talked about
how
that
they're
last
that
night.
bad.
Yep. What were they last night? 16 for 24, which seems good for this team, which is terrible. That's 67%.
That's what the Bulls shot, right around there.
Yep, they're 16 for 23. But yeah, I mean, you got to be better because if you make a couple more of those, you win the game.
Weird.
Just
Free
like you
points.
Yep.
They're shooting 71.1 right now.
That's bad.
It's not good
God,
enough.
I miss those days when they were at 80.
Yeah.
When they missed a free throw and you're like, what the hell is going on?
Right. Yeah.
And
I mean,
now they make two and you're like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
It's all about inflection.
Next.
I'm trying.
Move
here.
it, bud, or
It's
don't.
loading.
I was just filling the space.
Augustus Jumper
shouting.
at AM Jump Shot. Would it kill Billy to give us a Adams Noel lineup? Doesn't have to be long. 2-3 minute stretch.
I tell you what, if Rob was sitting right there, he'd be lighting this microphone up right now.
It's got to be the only combination we haven't seen on the court all season long.
Yeah.
It's crazy that we haven't.
Did they not go like a minute the other night, or did I just make that up?
Not
made
that
that
I've
up, I
seen.
think.
Not that I've seen, but maybe.
You just dreaming about this?
I
I
don't
dream
know,
about it
man.
sometimes.
Ask Siri.
I hate Siri.
She's terrible.
Yeah, she's bad.
Worst of the worst.
Alexa's greater than Siri.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Does anyone have a Google Home?
I got one. It's just in a box, though.
Same. I have one in there. It's
Weird.
just in a box.
Huh.
I don't think
We
that's
can
how you're
combine
supposed
them
to
together.
do them.
Yeah, no, they don't really answer back.
No, yeah.
From our boy T, who has a Kiwi in his name there, at Draking T.
Tiwi.
How well would Justin Holiday fit in our team? He can shoot it and was lighting us up last night.
Love that idea. I brought it up to you guys a couple weeks ago. I think he's a good fit. He's a guy that kind of likes to chuck a little bit, though. He doesn't have a great defensive body. He's not really. I don't know if you can trust him on
Yeah, it
defense.
seems to lapse quite a bit.
Yeah, but he's a guy that likes to play offense. So I don't know. I
Could
like
be
it.
useful.
I like the fit. I'd go for him. I'd trade Abrines for him. That's for sure.
Yeah, please.
What's Anthony Morrow doing?
I think he's just got a
Tweeting.
fashion line and stuff. He's just hanging out with Perk.
Yeah. Some of
That sounds like a pretty good time.
Some of that. Next.
From Caleb Jones at Caleb_Jones_. I know his reputation is that he is a sharpshooter, but is Abrines actually that good of a shooter? Anybody can have scorching hot games here and there. If you take bias out, Abrines is now and has always been just about average. I throw 2-Pat in there as well.
Yeah, he's dead on. I mean, it's kind of.
That's a really fair criticism.
Yeah, I get frustrated when people talk about how great of a shooter Abrines is. Like, I need to see
Show it.
Show it. Like, you had a wide open corner three last night that
Oh,
would have been
dude.
huge, and you missed it. Like, you can't miss those shots if you want to be a elite NBA 3-point shooter.
For some reason on that shot, too, I was like, well, that's not going in. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as he shot, I was like, well, that's...
Yep.
It should have.
Yeah, that's a shot that you
no
have
one
to
in
make.
20 feet of him.
Gotta make that shot. In today's NBA, you gotta make that shot.
If you don't make that shot, not elite.
We're done.
Gotta make
That's
that
it.
shot.
Oh. Well.
Make your
Oh.
shots.
Make your shots. Do it.
I jotted a couple things down. Let's see what they were.
No! I see what you did there.
Oklahoma
A little
City's
slow today.
Oklahoma City's Dead Center Film Festival is featuring Patrick Patterson's Pat Presents with a student film contest.
Things he's doing other than getting better at basketball.
Ooh, you're one of those. Like the people on Twitter. Maybe try practicing.
Right. You ever been to practice before?
Like, I love when people like post an Instagram
So
of him at
ridiculous.
dinner. You should be in the gym.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't. Did you follow like Cameron Payne whenever he was going through his issue? Like people were just so
Oh, I
shitty
bet.
to him all the time. I was
I
like, dude,
bet.
he's just a guy.
Yeah.
Can't he just be a person?
Dead Center is a cool thing that Oklahoma
It is
City
really
does.
cool.
So if you've never been, go check it out. I actually used to be in a band, got to play a show at Dead Center once. That was fun. Right in front of the wall
Hashtag humble brag.
right in front of the wall that now has the Steven Adams mural painted
Oh,
on it.
nice.
Yeah. Happy 27th birthday to Andre Robertson.
Happy birthday, buddy.
I miss you.
Please feel better.
No.
I just
feel
want him
it.
back.
Yeah, be back, man. Hopefully, old Rachy Rach taking good care of him.
I
You know what I'm
bet she
saying?
is.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Patrick Beverly used Russ's Rock the Baby move in a basketball game. How you feel about that? It kind of all originated on Patrick Beverly.
it did. It sure did.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were about to go on a rant. That's all we got.
No, I don't like Patrick Beverly. Although I'm glad
What if-
they're apparently friends again. Whatever.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually am okay with it.
Maybe he's just showing respect to it. I mean, Patrick Beverly did say over the summer Russ is one of the
Yep.
main people he would like to be teammates with.
Him and LeBron.
It's kinda cool.
Were his choices.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
for that.
It's
I'm
a lot.
for that. It
It's a
opens
lot
it.
easier to play with Russ than play against Russ. To be honest.
That's
Remember over the summer when we were trying to make a case about LeBron to OKC? Fun times, huh? OKC Blue coach Mark Daignault was named NBA G League Coach of the Month.
that a boy, Mark.
Good job, Marky.
Yeah,
Mark.
helping me out.
Woo! Hey, Russ was on Jimmy Fallon. You guys watch?
I didn't.
Me neither.
Still.
I watched like a little bit. He
Just a clip
he
of the
talked
Rock
about
the
the
Baby.
Rock the
Yeah.
Baby thing. That's all I saw.
Yeah. Those are always just kind of like.
It's just Russ giggling and
Yeah.
Jimmy giggling.
Yeah. They're usually not very fulfilling.
Yeah.
Westbrook, speaking of, is 19 points away from passing Kevin Durant on the Thunder's all-time scoring list.
Bury that man so deep in the record books that his name never comes up.
I like it.
Yeah, not to go against what you just said, because I agree with that, but it is crazy how long it's like taken. Like, that just shows you how great
he's
of a
pretty
scorer
good.
Kevin Durant was from the moment he got to Oklahoma City and the numbers he put up. Because Westbrook's won 2 scoring titles.
Yeah.
I mean, and
It's crazy.
It's taken him a couple years to catch up.
To be fair, KD did have one extra year on Russ.
That's true.
So. On a
the-
terrible team that just he had to be the scorer.
Yeah.
Hey, Carlson was on it.
And Nick.
Where am I at? Los
Los
Angeles
Angeles
Sparks. Oh, thanks. You want to read it? You read it.
The Los Angeles Sparks of the WNBA have hired former Thunderer Derek Fisher as head coach. OD Fish.
Woo!
So he just teaching them to put their toes on the line of the
Yeah.
3-point?
That's what you're going to do.
Maybe just rainbowing up there?
You read that like a late night talk show host. Like there's a joke that you're about to insert right
Yeah, I
after you
didn't
read
have a
that headline.
punchline, though.
And he was reading it for the first time in a
Yeah.
teleprompter.
I was correct. All
Gotta
of that.
sell it. Paul George's 25 points in the fourth quarter against the Nets were the most points any Thunder has ever scored in a single quarter ever.
And oh my God, was it fun.
Man, that was fun. And it's a shame, most of it, the talking about that game was Wednesday night after it in the Aftershock with me and Rob. But God,
Oh, we should have had some more fun times on that tonight. But
I know, but
God, it was fun.
there's more pressing issues.
Yeah.
It was fun. I want to see some more of that, Paul.
That was the greatest.
It did, yeah, because we could have got into a little bit how his bounce back game just
Wasn't
he
there.
only took 16 shots.
Yeah.
Like, get that guy 30 more shots.
Yeah. Every time he's open,
Yeah.
hit it.
Yeah. Some images of the Thunder's 5th jersey, the Earned Edition, have surfaced. They are very similar to the statements. I'm sure you guys have seen them, most of you that are listening. If not, just do a search somewhere on the web.
On the
and you can find 'em.
interwebs or
they're-
OKC Tracker on Twitter, I think.
They don't have the lines in the back, right? So
Correct.
I would actually say they're probably more...
It's
They-
like a combo of the sunsets and the statement, but more so sunset.
Yeah.
It's just like the sunset got replaced. Like the only thing that was replaced is the statement logo is on there.
They have this slanted font.
Yeah.
OKC on
Which
there.
is way better.
And like
it's weird how much better that looks.
I know. It's real. It's so
Like,
much
because the OKC on those statement jerseys or the sunset jerseys sucked. It was so boring.
I agree, and the color was cool on them too. Like
Yeah.
they could have been so cool, and that was always the complaint there. I'm excited to see them on the court. I don't know, like based on what we've seen, I don't know yet. Like
it
I don't
just-
hate them.
Do I just have a horrible problem with whoever is in charge of outlining things on Thunder jerseys?
Is it that blue
The
mark?
white outline on the numbers pisses me off still.
No, I didn't notice it.
I just am upset. Like, put blue or something. Like, just make it cooler.
I,
But I really like them, though. Do you know,
I have my own critiques.
you don't like them because they're orange?
Well,
Yeah.
no,
Okay,
it's
moving
not,
on.
No, it's not just that. But
He
like,
would tell you guys.
I want.
I don't know if you knew that.
I want white outline of the the slanted OKC.
Or no outline.
No, I do want white outline. I want both of them. I like outlines on numbers and all that stuff. And I also wanted the damn striping. I wanted thunder blue striping, just like the statement jerseys.
See, that would have been cool.
Or even if it was white, because then it would have tied in the outline.
Like, if they
That
would have
would've
put the outline on the logo and then, yeah, that if they would have made it consistent, I would have liked it better. Or there's like the lighter blue stripe
That
on
is-
the neck.
that is called the
Dude,
little
that is
chevron.
the outline. It would have been badass.
with you, I'm with you, because that light blue stripe on the neck is just random.
Yeah, it looks out of place because it's not anywhere else.
All right, let's do this basketball. It's last month. The month is over. Justin won. He killed us. He just destroyed
Kicked
us.
our asses.
I lost again. I'll be serving a punishment on next week's podcast. 2 in a row.
Thanks to the OKC Blue.
If you're not familiar with basketballs, each week we draw a team. That team represents us for the week until the next podcast. There are some wildcard balls in here. You get 2 draws. If you don't like the first one, you can put it back.
Houston Rockets.
Oh,
that's
that's
a tough
confusing. What are they doing right now?
It's a gamble either way.
It
Keep
really
that on.
is.
You're going to draw for Rob. Oh, he
Put
put
it
it back!
back! Because they suck
Draw
ass.
number 2.
Although they're probably just going to go.
What he gets, he
You
gets.
gotta keep it. What you get?
NFL teams with birds as mascots.
Yeah! So we got NFL teams with birds as
So
mascots.
the Eagles, Falcons, Cardinals, Ravens,
Seahawks.
Seahawks.
So
All right.
whatever they do on Sunday
And
and
yeah,
Thursday and Monday,
Yep.
however football works now.
They're all days.
Yeah.
For Rob. He
The
gets,
New York Knicks.
Don't
Go
think
ahead
he's gonna want the
toss
Knicks.
that one back in for him.
and Rob's final.
Gotta keep it, Bobby.
The Thunder.
got the Thunder.
Oh, the first time.
The first time the Thunder have been drawn.
There you go,
Tough
Manny.
week. Tough
Hold
week
on
to
that
draw
ball.
the Thunder.
Caress Rob's ball for him.
It is Jason.
Yeah, that's because you lost, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Man, that's fun that Rob got the Thunder though.
That's pretty exciting. Oh, I'm broke here.
That's okay.
Pissed.
Pistons. Woo.
They had won 5 in a row before playing the Thunder on.
Tossing it back.
Oh wow! Bold move.
Bold move, Cotton.
I feel like this one's not gonna pay off for him.
Detroit Pistons.
It was meant to be.
That's incredible.
It was meant to be.
Did you just hold on to it?
No.
I think
I
you
swirled
cheated
it
and
around
held on
even.
to it.
Huh. I guess Blake Griffin's my guy.
Hey, he went to OU.
Portland Trailblazers.
So
I'm
did
gonna
you-
hold on to that one.
Oh.
They sucked for me last week.
Yeah, that's why I'm hoping they bounce back a little bit for me.
Oh, God,
So to
I hope
recap,
you lose 3 times in a row.
Justin's got NFL teams that have birds as mascots. Rob has
Best ball.
Rob has the Thunder. Jason has the Detroit Pistons,
Twice.
and I have the Portland Trailblazers. Next week, the Thunder have it's a tough schedule. Jazz at home, at New Orleans, at Denver, and the Clippers at home. Aftershocks after all those games except the Clippers, and a full show on Sunday. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks to Sisters and Scotch of Oklahoma City for keeping us looking clean. Hey, I think we're gonna do nice shirt. I think we're gonna do like a watch party there.
Yeah.
We got it in the works. Hopefully, tweet us, whatever. Let us know if you'd be interested in coming to this. Do a watch party. We'll do some giveaways there.
Hang
Just be
out,
fun.
watch the game with us.
Maybe do an aftershock after the game.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have a whole little night, little Thunder night. Be fun. Also, thanks to Opolis Clothing. Shirts are printed. If we owe you a shirt, they're in the mail this week. I promise.
Finally.
Yeah. And I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
And, that's about it. I appreciate, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much.
Thanks. Thanks.
Get us out of here, Justin.
He said, I want to see you again, but I'm stuck in colder weather.
Nope. No one knows what you mean.
Yeah, you just made that up.